everybody. Again, this is Tom Randall from GoldenCare, and want to welcome you to this Integrity Short-Term Care Initiative training webinar again. And thanks to all of our partners. We've got some folks on this call. Appreciate that. And I've been working for over 27th year, I believe, here at GoldenCare, and I've had the pleasure of working alongside my partner in crime, as I call him, Dennis Reiner. Dennis got he's a little bit under the weather today. He's been a trooper. He's been doing these trainings. I think we have 30 of these trainings over the next 25 days, if we include last week. So we've been busy. And Dennis, go ahead and say hello and introduce yourself if you would.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning, or this afternoon, I should say.
Yep, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be running the show. And Dennis, you tell me if you need me to jump to different spots. But we'll get started right away. And again, if you hear any of these webinars, I kind of demand that we always start with this slide, because if anybody on here is new, and I apologize to those of you who've been on a couple of the webinars already, but this is what it's all about. If anybody knows me and Dennis at all personally or professionally, you know how passionate we are about this industry, because we have so much gray hair in America. And, you know, with the baby boomers turning 65 faster than we can count, we know it's a huge issue to take care of these folks. 70% of people are going to require some type of extended care, and 90% of married couples, if you look at the stats, so one of the two married couples, one of the two in the marriage is going to need some help at some point. Those are outstanding statistics. And scary part is 90% of adults have never had a real discussion about planning to protect their families and themselves. And we always keep this COVID one in here because COVID threw a real curveball to this industry, and 61% of the people in the height of COVID who were surveyed said, you know, I'd rather die than go to nursing home at this point. That's how scary it was during that time, for sure. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is get people plans, keep them at home comfortably as long as possible. And obviously for some of the short-term comprehensive plans, we can get the full-blown facility covers thrown in there as well. But we just need to have folks like you, people that are on this call, whether you're in the Medicare market or annuities or life insurance, whatever the case may be. If you're not out there helping people and helping people with the extended care, with short-term care, et cetera, we're missing the boat. So Dennis, I'll shift it over to you, and you can talk a little bit about the shifting market if you'd like.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. You know, it's for those of you who've been in the business for some time, some of you may have even been in the long-term care space back in the early days of long-term care, when we were placing about 90% of the business, and our average age was 72. And what's happened over the last few years is there's been a shift where consumers and agents have been aligned to demand really the same thing. They want products today that have less underwriting. They want products today that are less complicated, and they want products today that are less expensive. And so this is why the standalone home health care offerings that you're going to see today, why this statistic is so compelling. 80% of mature Americans 65 or over have at least one chronic condition. Most of them have been priced out of or underwritten out of any of those other solutions, including not only traditional long-term care, but some of the asset-based plans as well. And so that's why our discussion today on the home health care offerings is so important. And Tom, you know, like we say, even with our short-term care, everything starts and stops with one word, and that is underwriting, but also availability. So yep. I'll turn it back to you, and let's pick it up.
Absolutely. Yep, no problem. And that's exactly right. What Dennis was saying is it does come down. You'll hear us say it all the time in these trainings as well. I know that's one of my taglines is you buy these products nowadays more with your health sometimes than with your checkbook, because it is about the underwriting. These companies are definitely going to be looking and checking the oil and seeing where they can get coverage. And that's what you can do as a professional, as somebody who kind of leads and lets us lead you down that path, is we can help just about everybody you're in front of, because of the fact that Integrity sets you up with a really nice portfolio of products to do this. So if you remember some of our other training, maybe seen a slide real familiar, similar to this, if you will. And first of all, the home healthcare only plans are the plans we're going to talk a little bit more about today. These are the ones that are so important and like I said, so big time in what we're trying to do to accomplish, because of the fact that you will come across some people who won't be able to qualify for the bigger plans. So these home healthcare only plans, you're going to see literally just a couple underwriting questions. They have obviously more limited benefits in the home healthcare side of it. You'll see more about that as we get into today. So there's less risk for the carrier, but they're so valuable and so important because these larger short-term care plans have more knockout questions. So they're going to throw the net not quite as wide. And obviously, because of that, they're going to have larger comprehensive benefits and there's more risk to the carrier. So the highlighted home health care plans we're going to talk about today are GTL's home care only plan. GTL's been a great partner of ours at Integrity for a long time, and they've got a very strong home health care only plan. They call it their short-term home health care plan. And then Manhattan Life is a partner we did our Omniflex with, is a comprehensive short-term care, as many are familiar with. That one has the Manhattan Life's Home Care Select, it's called, and they also have their existing home care plan in some of the states that Home Care Select hasn't been approved in yet. We'll show you that in a second. Then we've got a great True Freedom plan that's not really actually an insurance policy, but it's one of those that is in all 50 states, and literally it's very, very liberal underwriting, so we can help just about everybody involved. As far as the short-term comprehensive plans, many of you have been on the training already, know we have Manhattan's Omniflex short-term care. These are all proprietary products for Integrity. Wellaby's Essential Care, the Essential Care and Essential Care Plus short-term care plans, which are great and have some nice niches to fit a lot of your clients. And then GTL's Recover Cash short-term care, again, been around longer, it's in more states, and it's a very powerful short-term care plan on its own. So we have separate training on those, and we're going to talk today again more about the home care plans, because this is the beauty of what we offer you as an Integrity agent or somebody who's under one of our Integrity partners. You have the ability to offer some type of protection to almost anyone in all 50 states. And you'll see that as we get into some of the presentations, et cetera, where we talk about, we tell people, you buy this with your health, and as long as you're not getting care right now, there's a good chance we're going to have something that's going to be able to help you. So that's a really important part of what we're doing, because when you look at these state availabilities, I'll turn it back over to Dennis, even though his throat's sore a little bit, but this is just the home health care side of it. And I know Dennis has been so hardcore and so important in getting the True Freedom Plan aligned with what we're doing with our overall goals. So I'll let Dennis take over and just give you a little background on this slide here.
Sure. Thanks, Tom. You know, the GTL has been out the longest. And when I say the longest, we're talking about these plans that really have only been around a handful of years. And so they're in 35 states, and you can see that with the representation here on the map where all three products are available. And the Manhattan just recently upgraded and we worked closely with Manhattan on some of the changes that we wanted to see with the upgrade on their Manhattan Home Healthcare Select versus their legacy product. The legacy product we hope to have in those states that you see that Tom is highlighting there, or putting his arrow on, that we hope that those states will come on shortly. In fact, Hawaii just came on right before our call, and so it hasn't. It's not in the well, I guess it is. Yeah, we just listed it as being there. Yeah, sorry. And then New Hampshire was also a recent addition, as was Alaska. And before, we only had in New Hampshire, we only had the only short-term care product that we had was the Manhattan. There was a version, an older version of the Recover Cash with GTL. So this is something that we continue to update these map availabilities, and you can see that also when we direct you to one of the sites that we have created for you for follow-up resources that you can actually get product information. You'll be able to see, we keep that site very current.
Right. Yeah, and the True Freedom, just to give a little bit, you see the gray slides here. Maybe it'll show you on the short-term care easier even yet. Remember, the comprehensive short-term care plans are not available. And these are, again, the comprehensive that we won't spend a lot of time going through today, but the slide will be available for you, as you know. But we know there's some states that are a little bit stubborn with Minnesota and Oregon, or Washington example, and in California and Florida. And out east, there's several states that just won't embrace the comprehensive short-term care plans. And they won't take some of the regular short-term care plans as well. So what we have is the beauty of having True Freedom that's available in all 50 states. So that's why that plan is kind of important to us. It's kind of a prepaid home health care plan that hopefully we'll have a chance to have maybe Dennis do a summary of it on this call even a little bit as we get in and talk about these different plans. But that True Freedom plan, again, really nice as a safety belt for you. So I'm going to move on. If we just take a bird's eye view, and this again, Dennis, just jump in anytime you want. I know you've got the throat issue, so I'll try to take this. This slide is just kind of to show you that by and large, these plans are real similar to each other. And we're just talking about the home health care only plans from GTL Manhattan, not True Freedom, because that's kind of a different bird on its own. But this one, if you look at it, 61 to 85 is the issue ages for GTL's home health care plan. And Manhattan Life has issue ages that they expanded, which is nice with their select plan, 45 up all the way up to age 89. So that's very nice that we have a little wider bandwidth there on the age groups. These plans do have premiums that go up in different age bands. So be aware of that as we get into the training more and we get into specifics on selling these products, that you got to remind your clients that they will go up at different age bands, but they're very, very affordable, as you'll see. They have different names for the plan options. We have the old generic plan ABC with GTL, and Manhattan Life has an ABC, but they call it Classic, Premier, and Deluxe. So that's just semantics there. And you're going to see again how familiar and similar these plans are. Plan A and B and C for GTL is $150 combined maximum daily benefit. These plans go for a year, 360 days. They're first aid coverage plans. So with these different services I'm going to show you in a second, remember they're still pretty powerful plans, right? If you do a plan A, $150 a day times 360, that's $54,000 worth of coverage. Plan B at 300, of course, is double at 108,000, and Plan C at 450 per day. If you use that 450 per day, and I know sometimes you won't because that's a maximum daily based on the services you receive for that day. So be careful of not misleading people, but that's $162,000 potentially for that home health care plan for that year. So it still could be a powerful little benefit for what the premium dollars you're paying for these. And they can get by with the lower premiums because of the way it's set up. These are description benefit-based plans. So if you have skilled nursing come in, like a skilled RN, they pay $75 for Plan A, up to $200 for Plan C, and those are the same for both policies. If you have general nursing, which is a step below that as far as skill level and cost, you're going to see GTL broke that apart, and they do $60 up to $200 with a break at $120 for Plan B. Manhattan Life just considers any nursing, whatever it may be, to be paid at that same level, $75, $150, and $200. Okay. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on all these things, but you can see physical therapy, they're identical, $75, $150, and $200. Speech pathology, same story, $75, $150, $200. Occupational therapy, same, $75, $150, $200. You guys are saying, why is he telling us the same numbers? Well, I've done this long enough. Once in a while, somebody will call in and say they can't see the screen. And I got yelled at years ago for saying, at least say the numbers once. So if we're not watching our screen. So chemotherapist specialists, as you see on your screen, 60, 120, and 200. And it's going to make me say the word, intrastomal therapy. That's the nutritious GI tract, 50, 100, 200. And respirational therapy, 50, 100, and 200. See, those are all the same for both those plans. Medical social services, same deal, 100, 200, 300. Really important part of the home care. This is the social services that deal with just your care and dealing and working with your diagnosis. And then we have a home health care aid benefit. You've heard me on the training about the comprehensive short-term care plans, and it's really important to understand this. And it's not a negative, it just is what it is. This is why they can throw the net so wide on the underwriting, is that they have a 60-day limit for home health care aid benefit. And that's, again, $30 for Plan A, 80 or 120. But the $60, so it limits to $2,400, $4,800, or $7,200 maximum. And it's really important that people use it. It's great, but that's the reason these plans can throw the net so wide. So that's one of the important parts to understand, is that yes, home health care aids are the number one benefit people get at home. That's why you don't take the path of least resistance and just say, oh, I'm going to sell everybody these home health care only plans, because a lot of times people don't realize that the home health care aid benefit is the one they'll use most often. I'm not saying that you wouldn't sell this, and Dennis, jump in if you'd like, because it's really important to know that some people will still choose to buy a plan like this because of affordability. and because of the fact that they may not be that concerned about the home health care aid side of it. But I do want to make sure we do our job and our due diligence training on that. So Dennis, I don't know if you want to add, or why don't you
Tom, I was just going to say that one of the things that we've seen, and again, this is not for this class today, this training today, but we will have a training that will talk a little about some of the advanced applications where we actually can combine both products, the standalone home health care along with the short-term care, and especially when someone is trying to maybe beef up those days on the home health aid, but they also do have some underwriting concerns, and maybe they cannot get the full benefit with either Manhattan or Wallaby in particular. Doesn't apply as much with the GTL Recover Cash. So there is certain strategies that you can actually incorporate both into your planning as a way to give them a little bit more days. But really the key with these plans, both of them, is that prescription drug reimbursement, because it's what I like to call the premium justifier. It gets people to justify the premium, and the rates are so attractive. And even though, as Tom said, they're in 5-year rate bands, and they will go up over time, still with that reimbursement, you can mitigate much, if not all, initially of the premium, depending upon which plan you select, whether it's the plan A, B, or C with GTL, or whether it's the classic Premier or Deluxe with Manhattan. So Tom's going to talk a little bit about the underwriting. And then, Tom, I want to come back on another point on the Manhattan afterwards, because I think it was just so we can cover that as well.
No, and go ahead, Dennis. I actually jumped ahead. I pushed the button thinking it was.
I think it's, we do so many of these products, and with the upgrade on the Manhattan Home Healthcare Select, they actually move the needle just a little bit up to 365 days and not 360. So as a result of that, it just kind of moves it up to where Tom said the 54,000. It moves it to 54,750. Or 109,500, or 164,250. And again, not big differences, but it's sometimes the little things that separate these products, and you'll decide at the end of the day which one you're most comfortable with. We write a lot of the GTL, and the Manhattan is more of a newer player, especially just coming out here just recently. So that was something I just wanted to make sure that we covered as well.
Oh, thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. That is something. And again, make sure as you get more involved in these products, because Dennis checked my oil there, because I did just jump on the old fashioned, the 360. So good catch there. And some of these products have some different riders to them and stuff that have different availability based on your state. So we'll have all that information available for you on our site, which I'll show you in a second as well. So make sure you check that out. So the big thing we talk about when we throw the net wide, this is just an example from GTL. And again, we're going to talk a little bit about the differences with GTL versus Manhattan, because there is subtle differences there as well. But if you look at this, and when we put this together, I don't know if I push the button, I'm going to move past this slide, or it's going to give me one more. Okay, so basically, this is how simple this is. And when we talk about the fact that we can get just about anybody covered, we mean it, because you look at it as number one is not really even the number one question there. Says, is the applicant currently in a nursing home, assisted living, or receiving home health care or similar type of benefits? So obviously you answer yes to that, then we can't offer coverage with this plan or even with the True Freedom plan, right? The second one on there is the applicant unable to perform routine activities of daily living, bathing, dressing, eating, continence, toileting, or transferring to and from a bed or chair without physical assistance, or cognitively impaired? Now, this is one of the areas that we want to make sure, and I think I'm going to underline that if I go one more here without causing problems, maybe not. So basically, I just want to stress right here, cognitively impaired, that's fine, and that's a knockout question for GTL. Manhattan's new select plan came out and does not have the cognitive impairment knockout with that. And Dennis, you might have to help me out. Does their older plan have the cognitive impairment knockout, or is that the same for both?
Yeah, there were some changes in the older plan that people are grandfathered in. So in those states where we still have that legacy, they'll be able to have an addendum to their contract when they receive it. Because there was some things in there, Tom, as you may recall, that we we didn't like. There was a 3-day hospital stay that was required before people could actually trigger benefits. So, these plans are so darn similar, and really both of these are just great companies. And I think that question 3 is really I don't think you're going to bump into a situation where that's going to be a problem with that next 60 days, because Manhattan doesn't have that question. Manhattan just has the other 2, but that's just something to keep in mind.
No, and thanks, Dennis. And again, sorry to make you have to talk more than you need to on it, but that the one for C, for those of you who might just be listening in for some reason, in the next 60 days, does the applicant expect to be admitted to a hospital, nursing home, assisted living, or require home health care or have a surgery? So probably the big one on there is the surgery. Somebody might sneak in. But again, that's not on the Manhattan Life. And again, you won't see it come up very often. And it's only if you're offering the very top plan, the option C plan for GTL. So in a nutshell, this slide was mainly meant just to show you that these plans are out there, and they're really nice to have because they throw the net so wide, like we said. So at the end of the day, this kind of gets into talking about being prepared and getting into the sales side. But I think I'm going to segue over, Dennis. Should we show them the site and show some of these different things and maybe do that video? Does that sound like a good idea?
I think that'd be great, Tom. And that way they also know where to go as a resource, as a follow-up.
Yep. If you go to integrityshorttermcare.com, your marketer that got you on this webinar probably already gave you access to this site. And this is a kind of our go-to site here that'll show you all the things you need to be successful, whether you're selling Medicare, which most people on this call I would assume are, or whether it's life or final expense or any of the other types of plans out there. Remember, our primary goal we talked about is people need this help. That's not going away. The need's not going away. And one of the good things, I guess you'd say, is that people are really starting to realize again how important this type of care is, this extended care protection is. So we've seen the market turn around where a lot more of your clients are going to be nodding their head and understanding when you bring this up how important it might be for them and their family. So that's a good news. It's one of the few good things COVID brought us, is that an awareness that people have now for the need for protecting themselves a little bit more. But on this site, you'll see all the different sales and marketing materials you might need. And you'll go down here and see comprehensive short-term care plans. Remember, we talked about Manhattan's Omniflex, Recover Cash, and Wellbe. Those are the comprehensive short-term care that have facility coverage as well. Then you go down a little further and you'll see the home health care only plans that we're talking about today. And you can see here, there's Manhattan Life, there's GTL, there's True Freedom we talked about. And if you click any one of these, and it might take a minute here because you'll probably have a delay because we're on a webinar, you'll see GTL's home care plans, and you'll see state availability for them. You're going to see a little video over here that I'm going to show you in a second. And then down below, you can see all the different things you might need for product highlights, presentations, brochures, quoting, etc. But if I were to show the video, and I'm not going to click it here because we learned that you get some snapback from trying to do it. So I'm going to go to, pardon me for a second, Dennis, if you want to talk for a second, I'm going to go to find the share, and I'm going to find how to be able to do the sharing of the video.
Sure, Tom. I'll just briefly on that. The last product that was mentioned, the True Freedom, we're going to have a separate training coming up. I think it's coming up within the next week. So watch the calendar on the True Freedom, because some of you might be in states where I hear this all the time. What can you do for me in Florida? What can you do for me in California? And so this is a product that doesn't have any underwriting. It's just really suitability. Are you currently living independently? Are you not ADL deficient? And we actually, this product is a niche product. I mean, it's not insurance, but think of it like AAA. It's a membership plan. And it does have a place in the planning part of what we do, because we are in the problem-solving business. And it doesn't matter what state someone's in, they want their problem solved. And so True Freedom may come into play for some of you who are in New York or California, or as Tom said, Minnesota. Boy, we've been working so hard in Minnesota to try to get them to turn their heads towards short-term care, and it's just difficult. Washington's another problematic state for us, and then some of those, as Tom indicated, in the East. So look out for the future training on the True Freedom. It may or may not be a fit for what you do, and maybe you won't have a need for it, but if you do, you know that it's available.
All right, can you see the video screen there, Ben?
I see a blue screen, Tom.
Okay.
Here we go.
There's no bed like your own. And if you suffer an illness or have an accident, the last thing you would want to do is recover in an unfamiliar, hectic environment like a hospital or nursing home. Focus on your recovery in the comfort of your own home with short-term home healthcare insurance from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Think about your family situation. You may be reaching that age where planning for future care is necessary, or maybe your parents are reminding you they don't want to go to a nursing home. How could being unprepared for either yours or your parents' need for care affect your finances and way of life? GTL's short-term home health care insurance is more affordable than most other plan of care policies, and it pays benefits directly to you regardless of any other insurance you have. Home health care benefits kick in if you suffer a cognitive disability or can't perform 2 of the 6 ADLs, and no hospital stay is required. The base plan consists of 3 main components, and there are 3 different base plans for you to choose from to match the level of coverage you want. With the home health care benefit, your chosen plan pays a benefit for up to 360 payments for a variety of services, including skilled nursing, physical therapy, and general nursing care. With our most comprehensive plan, you can receive up to $162,000 of home health care benefits. With the Home Health Care Aid benefit, you can receive a daily benefit for each day you require the services of a home health care aid, depending on your chosen plan, and no hospitalization stay is required. Most likely, you're taking at least 1 prescription medication. With the prescription drug benefit, you can receive benefits for any prescriptions that are filled after the policy is in effect. Just filling your normal prescriptions can help offset the cost of the policy itself. Now let's see how it works. Say you're 65 years old, have the Plan A policy, and take 1 brand name prescription that you refilled 10 times over the year. A GTL short-term home healthcare insurance policy would pay you a total benefit amount of $250 over those 12 months. With an annual policy premium of $294.45, the net cost of the policy would be less than $4 a month. And this is not even including any home health care benefits you may receive. Short-term home health care insurance from GTL is flexible and customizable, with a great set of riders for you to choose from. And with only 2 or 3 underwriting questions, you don't have to worry about a long application process or medical exams. So, for a fair premium, wouldn't you rather receive professional care at home? Now is a great time to find out more about GTL's short-term home health care insurance.
Very good. And again, Dennis, while I'm getting back here, why don't fill them in a little bit about how many average prescriptions there are, if you don't mind. And that's a good way to talk at the end about the premium savings.
Yeah, the average 65-year-old either takes initial prescriptions of 27 or refills of up to 27 and a half a year. Very likely that they could qualify in many cases to get reimbursed either on the 300, or if they were selling the plan B with GTL, it'd be 600, and the plan C with GTL, this is a new enhancement to GTL, just went all the way up to $900 a year. So on the Manhattan, it's 300, 600, and 600. But I will tell you, I really think, and the company is actuarially, we've worked with, over the years, because the GTL product has been out a little bit longer. We've talked to them over and over again about the availability of making this reimbursement, and they have indicated over and over again that this product is still priced in such a way that even if people did max out those reimbursements, it would never affect the aspect of where rates are or future claims. And both of these products have never had a rate increase. And remember, it's because this risk is pretty finite. They know what the risk is going in between what plan that you select. And so I think it's really important that you consider It may come down to state availability because there is such similarity between the two, or it may come down to someone who was trying to max out that reimbursement. And if you really had someone who was taking some serious meds and bought that Plan C with GTL, knowing they could get reimbursed up to $900 a year is pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dennis. And one of the things, again, don't forget this site, integritystc.com. And when you go on here, you can see all these things. It's one of the reasons it's kind of fun to train. Our main part of the short-term care initiative, remember, is training not just on the products, because you can get that through recorded training pretty easy as far as how the products work. It's very important that you know it. But what we're trying to do is really show you how simple it is to sell. So one of the nice things about having this site is on every one of these products down here, we try to take care of a lot of the heavy lifting just right within the site itself. So product highlights, if I were to click down in here, you'd see that it's all the different benefit highlights that we went over today. If you went into presentation and brochures, you can see there's going to be the Home Care Select agent flyer and a rate guide there, marketing materials for consumer use, quoting, how to get to the quoting site, and then the enrollment resources and frequently asked questions will all be on here. And this is a living, breathing tool. So I want to make sure you know that we have a lot of training sessions from these, because we've done this so long at GoldenCare that we're kind of tweaking and trying to update some of the products like the GTL that's been around for a little bit, and making sure we get some recorded training on there as well that'll get into the different riders and fill you in on that stuff as well. So as we go through here, don't forget to check back to this site often. Dennis, I don't know if you want anything else on this site, but we can go, to the sales and marketing, and we have recorded training there as well, and all the different things you might need as far as here's training video collections, the InstaPivot tool. If you want to get involved in that InstaPivot tool is a great underwriting tool for some of you who really want to dive in, but you don't really have to, because some of these products are simple enough that you maybe don't need to dive in that far. That's one of the goals Dennis and I are having, is to get everybody feel comfortable at whatever level you want to in this market, because it's pretty easy to help people. If you were on our previous training, I'm sorry to make you go through it again, and I won't make Dennis use his throat to tell you about it, but this type of thing is all we're asking you to do when we get into our sales portion of this, is bring up the question, ask people and say, before I let you go, and this is what you do every day with every client, whether you're selling Medicare, whatever it might be, all you need to do is ask the question, start that conversation. And Dennis was just at a meeting for one of our partners, and he literally was sitting at breakfast, and he ended up basically selling a plan to somebody at breakfast. Over 5 minutes, had him leaning in saying, wow, you're right, I do need to have some more information on this extended care. And he went so far within 10 minutes probably, and he had their name and address and basically said, have an agent call me, I'll sign up. So it is easy to do. Get on our sales trainings for sure. And Dennis, is there any other parts of this product thing you think we want to hit today, or should we just try to make sure we steer them towards the sales side of it so we can start that process next time around?
Right, Tom. Well, we do have on the sales training things that are generic by nature. We've got 7 reasons why people don't buy, overcoming any objection. This one here on the personalized plans, we took a look at OmniFlex and dove a little bit deeper. And one of the last scenarios that we showed was that combination sale that we talked about, Tom, as far as combining the short-term care with the standalone home health care. So all of this is available for your benefit. And the key is, as Tom indicated, is you've got to, right now as AEP comes up, I know everyone gets very focused, they're laser focused, and sometimes the blinders are just on and you don't want to look sideways, but you've got to be a resource to your clients. Your clients are in need of these particular products, and they're going to turn to you. They unlike that person Tom said that I just met randomly in a Marriott restaurant at one of our other Integrity Partner events. These are people that know you. These are people that trust you, and hopefully these are people that like you as well. And so take the opportunity. The products are very easy, and again, the standalone home health care is even easier with a wider net, but don't discount the opportunity that may be to make sure that you also consider the short-term care scenarios, because people do progress. We know that our experience with claims has been that 70% of claims starts and stops at at home. And remember, the great thing about these short-term home care products is they're all 100% cash. These are not reimbursement products. They're 100% cash, and they pay regardless of whether or not Medicare or any other plan pays. There's no coordination of benefits. So it's a wonderful opportunity to be a resource. It's a wonderful opportunity to look for ways that you could double your income during this AEP.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. And folks, again, I can't stress enough what Dennis was saying is that, you know, the big step is up to you guys. If you're not appointed with GTL or Wellaby or Manhattan Life, make sure you talk to your marketer who got you on this webinar, because get appointed, get all that stuff in place. And I just can't stress enough how many sales you're going to be able to make. And more importantly, to me and to everybody who's really passionate about this, is that you're going to be able to help people who just haven't had anybody take the time to say, hey, you know what, heads up, you may not realize that some of this coverage isn't there for you unless you plan for it. And you saw in that video, it's amazing. These short-term home health care only plans are so inexpensive. That's one of the biggest things we get people coming back saying, well, after my prescription drugs, because I'm on quite a few, my plan is actually free. Is that right? It seems like I'm missing something. But that's the power of knowing what you're doing as an agent, telling people to make sure they send in those reimbursements. And if they do that, these plans can be incredibly affordable. And I can't wait to teach you about stacking a short-term care plan with a home care plan, getting double dipped on the prescription drugs, and ending up having just great savings across the board for a lot of your clients and helping them when they need it. So that being said, Dennis, unless you have any final words.
I was just going to say, Tom, tomorrow we're having the webinars on Start the Conversation. We're going to be going through our 5-step selling process for Medicare clients. And hopefully some of you will want to jump on that, because really those steps are not just specific to short-term care. They're specific also to the home care only plans as well. And so hopefully you'll take that opportunity, if it fits into your schedule, to join us. We really appreciate your time today, though.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate all you do. This is Tom Randall, Dennis Reiner signing off. Have a great day.
The next step is yours. Contact your marketer for more information and to start offering short-term care solutions to your clients. And be sure to sign up for our other short-term care hot topic webinars.